Alright, welcome. This is Devin from Deadly Art Gaming. For those coming for the first time, welcome. For those coming back, welcome back. Today we are going to be going over the second part of my series of videos that I'm going to be doing of tips, tricks, guides, do's, don'ts, all that kind of stuff of last Epoch. So yesterday I made one over the crafting system, how to craft, and today's going to be a beginner's guide. So essentially starting a new character or starting as a new player, period. Both aspects of that. So uh, before we get into that, if you do like the content, please smash that like button. If you want to keep up to date with my guides, my reviews, my live streams, and all that stuff, smash that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate it. It helps out the channel. Also, I do have a Discord link down below if you all want to go and join that. More than happy to have you. I will be playing with my community as soon as multiplayer comes out. So if you're looking to farm stuff or get a build going, I'm more than happy to help y'all out. Also, I play several different games, all kinds of different games and reviews and all that stuff. So if you have any other games that I happen to be playing, I'll be more than happy to jump in and play with you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. So to start out, we're going to go over as of a new player. Now, some of this stuff, like I said, it will kind of carry over to just starting a new character after you've already been playing for a while, stuff like that. So, essentially, whenever you start your first character, essentially pick your class, what you kind of want to go lean towards. So now we got the rogue now. You got your acolyte, which can go into kind of the darker side of the casting realm. Also, the necromancer to be able to have minions. Then you have your sentinel, which is primarily melee. Then you got also shield throw and some throwing abilities. And then it had a little bit of casting stuff, support role as well for the paladin and all that stuff. So, um, and so you got your rogue, which will be your assassin in a sense of marksman or blade. And then you got your elementalist, mage, spellblade. So the caster does have kind of a variation of a melee version. So if you like that type of stuff, they actually have it. And then you got the beastmaster, shaman, kind of nature aspect. So they've got some minions in there, totems, shape shifting, and all that stuff. So quite a bit of stuff to kind of tickle your fancy as far as what you like to play. So if you like some, you can find some here very easily. Once you get your character, you figure out what you want to be, you start running through the game. Now, one thing you've got to pay attention to as you're starting to progress through it is your map. You're going to have different areas that you're going to progress through. So you'll kind of bounce around a little bit through some of them. So some of them you have to go back in time to go do. Um, so just for the sake of multiplayer down the road, if say you're at a quest working here, I wouldn't try to tell someone, "Hey, I'm in Lake Leith," because then the person's going to be sitting here like Lake Leith, and be digging through trying to find it so they know where to go meet you at or whatever the case may be. Um, Essentially, make sure you tell them, "Fine, Era, Lake Leith, I'm having an issue here, or is this where I need to go?" type deal. Make sure you kind of ask what error and also the location. Now, in this game, you can port anywhere as long as you've unlocked the teleport pad. Like some of these I haven't unlocked, I missed them or whatever the case may be. There are some that don't have any at all. So you can't port to those, or I haven't gone to that area yet. I've already done all this stuff, so these don't have the ports to them. So there are a few maps that don't. But at any time you can port to and from. Um, Also, T is to cast your town portal. I am in the end of time, and I will go back to the end of time because I'm already in town. Um, so essentially now just remember, now I do want to tell you this one thing, is that if you do go to anywhere and go back, like if your inventory is full or whatever, if you do go back to town and go back, the mobs respawn, so you can go in there and you'll have to re-clear stuff. So just bear in mind that. So don't just jump back over there and just expect it to be all cleared and all that stuff. Generally, they respawn. Um, so now, once you're going through the main quests, you're gonna have your main quest line, and then you're gonna have your side quests. Like these are all the quests that I have completed, and then um, apparently I failed. Oh, that's the one where you can do either or. Uh, you have your main quest, which will be above the side quests, and then you have your side quests, or the ones that you don't have to do, but you can do. And over here, we'll kind of give you a description of where you need to go. This one's in the ruined era. Got to go to the college, and this is what you're going to get: XP gold and passive. So some of the quests will give you XP and gold, some of them will give you XP and gold and passives, and some will give you XP gold and idle slots, which idle slots are these right here. Um, so now, one thing to bear in mind, I'm going to leave a link to this down below in the description of this is something that I use quite often for a lot of different things. But this is the quest section where you can look at all the quests in the game and kind of see what they give. So with this, you can kind of tell, like over here, passes and IO slots. So some of them just give you XP and gold. So like whenever you pick these up, you can bypass these and just only do the ones that give you passes and item slots because those are going to be most beneficial. XP isn't a very big deal. Leveling up, you're going to level up pretty quickly. It's fairly decent leveling up. So, but the idle slots are a big plus because as you pick up idols, they make you stronger. The passives, they're good for you as well. I mean, I've gone to where like I go straight through to the skill quest where you pick your class, where I did none of this. I and I was just rocking through everything just fine. So it's not something that is going to be detrimental, but at bare minimum, I would recommend at least getting the idle slots because those can be very impactful as far as your damage, survivability, however you plan on using it. The passive points, not as much, but say if you decide to run through all of the story quests and kill Lagan at the end, you can then come back and do all the passes really quick because you can just mow through everything and just knock them out. Um, so on that end, it's kind of totally up to you. Like I said, at bare minimum, I would at least recommend doing the idle slots just because they are a big benefit to you. Uh, but like I said, you can come kind of check here to kind of that way you're not having as you're playing, you can come over here and see if it's over here. Okay, I want to go do that. So that way you're not always having to sit here and press J repeatedly to pull this up to look through them to see which ones have it or give you one and which ones don't and stuff like that. Just makes it a little bit easier to kind of comb through. You can bring it over. You can put it to where you do main quests. So some of the main quests that you're going to go through, you're going to do just period. And then your side quests, or you can just put it to where all the ones that are passes, or if you want to do, like I said, skip the passes and just do idols, you can pick this, and then when you see these, you know to go do those real quick. All right, so as you're leveling up, you'll get to a quest that is called that essentially is your quest to pick your um, your spec. So that would be this. Because you're going to start out with whatever your base is, which for me, this is a rogue. And then you'll hit around roughly 25. And then you do a quest where you'll, once you get to this area, you'll come up here, or you'll port in right around here, but you'll come up here. And as you come up here, you will talk to this person, and then you talk to this person, go in here, and this is where you go do your um, class quest. You now, as far as going in there, you're gonna have mirrors of yourself in there. Um, so now, granted, they don't do much damage. I just run through all of them because you don't get any XP that I know of in there. I've never really paid attention, but I just run past everything because they essentially they spawn for a few seconds and then they despawn. So I just run past them and go to the end and pick my class. Um, Once you go up to the class, you'll see your three blackened characters of the classes. So essentially, like for me, there's the blade dancer, the marksman, and the falconer. So whenever I go up there, you're gonna have three characters standing there. You go talk to the three characters, and then you talk to the podium in the middle. Now, this is where you've got to make up your decision because once you pick your class, you cannot pick again. It's a one-time choice. Pick it. If you make a mistake or you pick it and you just don't like it, you got to re-roll a new character, or just put that aside and just start a new character. So it is a one-time shot there. Uh, make your choice wisely. So after you choose your class, then you can start putting points into your trees. Now, as far as the way Lost Epoch works, is you can put skill points anywhere. So just because you choose Blade Dancer does not mean you can't put any points into Marksman or Falconer when it's not released yet, but you can pick and choose however you want to you see fit. So for instance, like the Sentinel, um, a lot of builds that have come out for Sentinel uses more than one um, spec. So now generally you have to have a bare minimum at least 20 points in your base class no matter what. So you have to put a bare minimum of 20 here to where then you can come in here and start putting points in here, because if you look at the bottom of the description of the skills, you'll see requires marksman level 15, requires rogue level 20. So your level as far as that is not your level of your character, that's how many points you have in your that spec. So rogue I have 20, um, marksman I have 15. Now, like I said, you can put points anywhere you want. So like if say I want to get some more not physical, since I'm an archer, let's see, through, so say I wanted some more shadow damage, or health on shadow creation, or let's say I wanted to get this right here, dexterity, which helps me on my bow, and lancing blow chance, which is good defensive ability. I can come over here and pick all these if I wanted to, and they will still benefit me. Not this one, because I'm at the dust shroud chance helps me, but the melee doesn't because I'm not a melee character. So you can pick points in here and you're still going to get the benefits of it. Now, there is a limit to it. Once you get to right around here on all the class specs is where you're going to see the bottom writing there where it says require Blade Dancer Mastery, which means you had to pick that class. So as far as picking skills in a different tree, you can only go up so high before you're cut off, because you have to be mastered to get those. So generally it's right around here is the highest you can pick. Because see, like that, it says requires completion of mastery quest. So I did the mastery quest, but I didn't pick that one, but I can still pick it because I completed that quest. And I have 20 in Blade Dancer. And well, if I had been putting points in here, I'd probably be at 20 to get to this. So you can pick and choose as you see fit, and as you put in points in a field, you unlock these skills. Now, most classes have um, a movement skill, if you will. Um, Leveling up, I would recommend always getting in that skill and putting it on your bar. Um, so I meant as far as one of the base skills that you get just from playing the game and leveling up, you get shift unlocked, which is the mobility skill for rogues. Even if you don't plan on using it in game, it's good to at least put it on your bar, because as you're leveling up, you're not going to have you're going to unlock the specialization tiers as you progress in your game as far as leveling up. So, um, even if you say you put three, like I have these three in here, well, I still have 2 points left, 2 things left over, and say I know I'm going to use this one in game, and say I'm going to use maybe this one in game as well. I'm still going to put them on my bar, but I would take one of them out that isn't really that useful as far as on the level up side. Some of the stuff you don't really use too much on the lower end side as far as leveling, that you more use on the higher end side or for mainly bosses. So those I would at least just put shift in there somewhere just to get through the maps faster, to progress faster. Um, Now, as you go through the game, you are going to get gear drop on the ground, and then eventually your inventory is going to look like this, where you're going to have your idle slots. Now, when you start the game, you're not going to have any idle slots. So that's when you start progressing through, and then you start unlocking the idle slots. And then as you do, you start getting these idols where they boost your damage or your defenses or what have you, stuff like that, or your minions, whatever the case may be. So now you're also going to be picking up these affixes quite often. So your inventory is going to get full a lot with those. So essentially, once you start getting full on these, or every time you go in your inventory, click that button right there. It will put them in your crafting storage. So I got almost 20k shards in my crafting storage, and these are the modifiers that I have. Um, so now gear, leveling up as a new player, new class, new player. Um, you're gonna try to put on stuff that's yellow. If you get uniques, put them on. Put some of them on. You'll start kind of being able to tell what is beneficial to your class, to your what you're trying to do. So if you're gonna be making a throw, you would want something like this, because this is kind of low level to level 8 glove. So this is really good for helping with throw damage. And then as you progress on, you might get something like this. So say I was doing fire stuff, testing out fire. So this is another level 7 item, but it does a big increases on fire. So there's all kinds of stuff that you'll get as you level up early on. That's pretty nice to just go ahead and throw on to get some movement speed, stuff like that. Other than that, the other side gear, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just put what you can on. If it gives you stuff to physical damage or bow attack or something that you're using, put it on. And as you progress through the game, then you can start getting into crafting. But generally, whenever I do my characters, I generally don't worry about crafting stuff. Well, I'll take that back. If I was a new player where I didn't have a stock of affix in my uh, inventory to use, I wouldn't worry about the gear. Get stuff that boosts your damage as you level up, and then generally once you get to about 40, 35, 40, that's when you would want to start kind of eyeballing your uh, defenses as starting to get your resistance is a little bit higher, get maybe your HP up a little bit more, dodge or what have you. Start looking in to start crafting some of your pieces to get them ready for in game. Early on, your resistances don't really matter too much, so you'll be kind of flying through. So don't worry about it that much. Now, one thing I will say real quick is don't worry about loot filters till you get midway through the game, maybe to where you're starting to getting into crafting. That's when I would start using a loot filter, because as a new player, you don't want it to be hiding a lot of stuff that could be beneficial to you because it's better than the white item that you have. So I would just say don't use a loop filter till you get maybe to 25 or so. Then you can start trickling it in there, because I would use that Tunklabs here once you're ready to start crafting, and then come to the gear planner. And this is where you would go pick. So I'm a rogue, come pick rogue, and I'm going to be bow. Come in here and start planning what you want to do, because you can start picking all, like here will be your rare chest and helm have your rare affixes on them. And then try to start building it around of maximizing. I mean, you don't have to get it perfect, but it gives you something to start with. And then you can start crafting the pieces, and then later on down, once you get all that stuff going, then you can start min-maxing, changing things around to get the best output for you. But at bare minimum, once you start using a loop filter, now I did have another guide of how to set up loop filters, how they work, and all that stuff. So I'm not going to go into the fine details and stuff like that, but I'm going to go over a little bit of it. Essentially, all of my loop filters, I have hide items at the end. So basically, anything on the list above here that I wanted to show me, all that stuff's going to show. Everything else is going to be hidden. Um, Now, underneath that, I put in one for affix to show, and it's all affixes. So that way, now this is gonna this what this is doing is it's hiding all the gear. Okay, so this is hiding everything that is not above it. It's being hidden, and then after the gear is being hidden, this is making it show all affixes. So essentially, all the little affix shards that drop on the ground, I'm gonna see, so I can go pick them up. Um, oh, I forgot one thing. Also, what I did is I have a base set up for this, and then I press duplicate, and then I'll name it to whatever character I'm gonna be playing that on, and then I build it out to that. So essentially, if say I'm working on my um, um, yeah, can't think of a word. My sentinel, like my paladin, I wouldn't be using a quiver, so I would just turn that off. I would turn the shield on, and of course, and then let me see. Do I have this? Okay, so then now I don't need a bow, but I do need my weapon. So essentially, I would come here, change this to whatever weapon I want, and then make sure you take off the bow, and then interesting. Some odd reason the bow isn't being taken off, but it's off. And then I come in here and pick which item it is that I'm wanting for my build, the thing that I chose. So if I'm making a bleed build, I would want to go for this. And so now it's only going to show those items drop, whether it's white, blue, yellow, purple, whatever. It'll show, not the bow. I don't know why it's doing that, but irregardless. And then, so essentially, if say the build that I'm working on, it doesn't need the Slayer and bracers, I would come in here, change it to whatever it is for that class or whatever character I'm making. So you would just essentially fine tune it, change these items to whatever it is that I'm looking for. And that way, when they drop, and then I can look to see what's on it, whether it is something that I will use. Now, once I get my character built to where he's got all of his gear stats that I need, now I'm starting to min-max, that's when I would start coming in here and adding in conditions to where I would put in the affix that I'm looking for and say only show it to me if it's got like a tier 2 or tier 3 above. So I'm not getting a bunch of white stuff anymore because I might already have my gloves at tier 4, tier 5, tier 4, tier 5, and trying to get tier 5 on everything or possibly tier 6 on drop, just stuff like that. That way you're not wasting your time getting white stuff because chances of you get tier 5 on everything on a white item is kind of low, but I mean, hey, it could happen. So, but like I said, you would just essentially just duplicate the base and then change it to fit the character that you're using at the time. That way you'll have a base to where when you make a new character, you can change it per that one. And then you can come in here and edit, change the name, put a description of what your like your fire build. Like say you have multiple paladins, you can put a description for that loot filter to be for your shield throw paladin or um, um, I don't know, shield throw or warpath paladin, what have you. You kind of change it up, put a different um, icon, and then change the color if you want. Um, Now you also get inventories, your stash. I would recommend trying to get one setup where you get a few tabs on it and put that for like uniques, get one for set items, get one for like your purples, because those are going to have your tier 6 and tier 7 mods on them. So where you can kind of look through them and like break some of them down just because it's on a base that you would never use. Other than that, you can just put them in here to where you might possibly go and craft something else on them, or if it's for a different class than what you were actually using. So, um, and then somewhere for your idols, because you get quite a few of those, and then like one for just random stuff that you created and just plan on breaking down because you're out of shard or shatter shards. Now that's another thing that I want to bring to mind. A big tip here is when you log in, go to the merchant. Oop, nope, not the gambler. Go to the merchant. Buy these shatterings. You will need a ton of them, and you will go through a ton of those. Now, I went over that in my crafting video yesterday of what those are for, but essentially those are for breaking down your gear, these gear of if it's like an affix that you're running low on, see like that one, I only have 5 of, so I need more of those. And you can tell I've got plenty of the other ones, but I only have 13 of those. So I'm running on low of those and I need those. So gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme. Thank you. And it only gave me one of the two, so. But that's the luck of the draw. Now, a little tip on using shattering is don't use it on everything. Generally, unless I'm in dire need, like for my build that I'm working on right now, I need minion physical build because I'm trying to build a ballista build. So I need minion physical, which I don't really have any of. So essentially, I have picked up a few, like this one right here. That one's a tier 3. But say you're just trying to stockpile some, like say like critical psych stance. I'm getting low on that one. Not in dire need of it because I'm not planning on building anything crit, and those drop a bit. So I wouldn't want to break down, like for instance, this spell damage and mana cost. Uh, I've got 148 of those, but say I want to get a pool of about 250. I'm not going to waste a Shattering on a T1 because you're only going to chance getting one. If it's something that you're not in dire need of, like if you're trying to do the build, like for instance, my minion physical, I need as much of those as I can get. So now this one's a tier 2, so I mean I have a chance of getting 1 or 2 or 0. But as far as this, I would not use a Shattering just to try to get one shard unless I am in dire need of it and I don't mind burning through it. Like if I only had like 2 or 3 Shatterings left, I probably still wouldn't do it even if I really needed it. Because you could get another piece drop and it has tier 3 and well, you used up the one Shattering you had left. You can't get it. Um, so essentially, whenever you log in, go straight to the NPC and buy all the shards you can. When you're doing monos, every couple monoliths, go to the NPC at the end and see if they have any and buy them real quick. While you're leveling, if you see an NPC that's the merchant, go sell or go buy because you trust me, you're gonna regret it if you don't because you're not gonna get them drop as much. Um, Now, as far as your class, your skill points you put in here, any of which can be removed at any time. You essentially come to the person with the purple brain. They're in a couple different locations throughout the game. Then you just come here and find which one that you didn't want, click it, and then respec it. Now, as far as these ones down here, this is a progressive essential, in a sense, mountain where you have to have 5 points to get to these. You have to have 10 points to get to these. You have to have 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So, I mean, you essentially have to have that many points. So, say I only had these 5 here, I had 5 here, and then I'm up here. Say these weren't even none of this was in here. I just had this 5, this 5. I'd be right here, and then say I had 5 here. That would put me right here to where I could put my 1 point in here. But say I changed my mind on this, and I wanted to move it over here, but I didn't want to get rid of this. Well, you're going to have to respec this to respec these to where you can then, after you respec those, put them over here or put them where you need them and then move them back. So sometimes it gets kind of tedious where you might have to respec 1 point because like if you're like in game where you got a bunch of stuff up here, it's a pain to try to unspec everything to get that one off. So you might have to just unspec one here, and then one respec one, put it in here, respec another, put it in here, respec another, put it in here, and then be done. And then put your point back up here or whatever you had to do. So it's just that's the only tedious part that I don't like about it. But like I said, you can respec these at any time you want, and same in here. Um, Now remember, in here you have to have 20 points in here to have these, so you have to take a couple points out of here, then go over here and put them in here, and then respec, put them in here, until you're done moving everything around, and those points that you took off here, go put them back. So, and then like I said, as you're getting the points in here, you'll unlock the skills over here as well. All right, and so then after you that, also you have the dummy over here. The dummy is good for testing your damage. Don't expect the damage numbers you see here to reflect in the game. The dummy has no armor, has no resist. It's just there for taking hits. So essentially, you would use it as say you're at level 15 on ballista and you get 1 point. You'll first want to come over here, cast it, see what damage it does. Then, once you're done with that, go to your ballista, put your point where you want to put it, and then cast it and see what the damage difference does. So good to use, kind of try out a few things and stuff like that. Now I've kind of made mention to them before of adding in more dummies uh, close by, or an NPC to where you can spawn different things to test more skills, because there's some skills that do more damage with more enemies in vicinity, or defenses, just kind of random stuff that you can do, but you need more than just one. Um, but that's not in the game just yet. So, and then once you're done, you're leveled up and you get through Lagon. Hopefully, for you new players, the actual people that are new to the game, good luck with Lagon. He is a little bit of a headache when you first play him, but once you get to learn him, he's not that bad. Just stay away from his beam until you can figure out how to negate that through playing the game. Other than that, um, that is pretty much it I can think of. Gambler. There's a lot of uniques and stuff that you get in the game, so use that uh, tool, this website. You can go in there whenever you're putting the, like, say you're wanting this bow. Well, essentially tells you what bow you need to look for. Say it's a base from a unique longbow. So then I would come in here and see if I can find a longbow. There we go, longbow right there. This is what I would want to buy over and over and over again to possibly get it, to get the item. Instead of farming for it, you can actually try to gamble. Now, not everything can be gambled, so make sure you come in here and check, because you'll see down here, drop by random. Gambled, yes. Some things are specific to bosses or certain things in the game. Uh, there's a few uniques that are bound to the bosses of the monoliths. Some of them are bosses that are also in the story as well. Um, so keep in mind that you'll want to get a stockpile. That's why generally in my storage, I have a storage for all the uniques that I get, and I try to at least have one of everything. There are a few that I have two of, like I'm trying to get like two of all the two-handed, um, a couple of the one-handed, and a couple of the shields, just in case I make a couple different characters that might need the same. Uh, you never know, they might give a node to where you can dual wield two-handed weapons. You never know. It might be crazy like that. Um, so it's always nice to have a little bit extra, and then I have somewhere for the accessories so I can go straight to them. So other than that, I think that is everything that I had planned. You do, oh, one other thing is you do have the arena over here. This is, you don't have to do it. It's just simply something that you can do to push yourself to the limit, see how far you can go. Comes in waves. Every 5 waves, you get to break some crates, vendor if you need a vendor, or put stuff in storage, and then keep going higher. And the higher you progress, the harder it gets. Once you get to level 80, you could start getting you can get a level 80 key. That way, instead of starting at 1 again, you start at level 80. To get the arena keys, you have to run monoliths. That's after you finish the game. Well, it's not after you finish the game, but the monoliths are over here. Whenever you get to wherever you want, you don't have to complete the game to start doing the monos. You can technically go in there at level 1 if you really feel froggy, you can. But generally, you'd want to go in there maybe around 35, 40, somewhere in there. You can go in there and survive and still get XP and drops and all that stuff. Um, That's totally up to you. If you just like some people's already done the story so many times, they'll just run through to get all the passes and the um, idle slots, and then run through and then start doing monos. So it's totally up to you how you want to play that. But like I said, your first playthrough, go ahead and just play through the story if you want, just so you can experience the game and everything that they've done. The monoliths, you'll go in and you'll come in here, you'll run some monoliths, and essentially there's 3 quest monoliths to each one. Like here's one right here. It's called a quest echo. Essentially, you have to complete 3 to unlock the next area. Now, in this one, once you get in here, once you defeat it, you can pick two directions to go, to this one or to go to this one. Um, I find it a little bit easier to kind of go this way up to the dragon and then fight him, and then I come back and do these just because I don't really care for because the one of them's a big void guy and he does a lot of damage. So I I generally keep him for last, but I mean I've got to the point where as long as you have your resist now, it's not like it used to be. He's not as bad as he used to be because now with the resist and the way everything works, it's a lot easier to tank him and fight him. Before, if you didn't have all your resists and a little bit of luck, he can really make you get upset you. Same with Lagon. But essentially, you can actually see where I'm at. Like on this one, I haven't taken any paths, so haven't picked either one. I've already completed 1 echo, so I need to complete one more, and the next one will be the boss. After I defeat the boss, you get a blessing, which a blessing is essentially a boost to your character. So, for instance, down here is the blessings that you get. Um, I can get crit strike, fire damage, minion damage, um, all kinds of stuff in here. And now it does tell you kind of the level. So like for the Black Sun, I can get these, but after I enhanced it to level 100, then I can get these. So it was just like I said, it's extra bonuses for your character. So once I complete this one, I could choose to go this way or that way. After I complete one or unlock one, I can redo these and then go that way if I want. Now, as you progress, you'll get to certain points where you'll enhance the other ones. Where then, when you go do that aisle, when you do it for the first time, you have a choice of doing the base level or the enhanced level 100. So, um, or not enhanced. I always say enhanced, but it's called an empowered. So once you empower those 3, then you can chance getting the higher bonuses. The dragon is pretty much the level 100 in-game boss. He'll be a bit of a challenge, so he's fun to fight. But like I said, you'll get somewhere you'll cut across here and stuff like that. So, but that's pretty much it for the monoliths. Like I said, and you can do any of them you want whenever you want. So it's not like once you get this and you go this way, you can't come back to here. You can come back at any time. I generally do this one, unlock this, go over here, and I just go straight to the dragon, kill a dragon, then I come back and complete these 2, and then I go in and empower everything, and then I start working on your blessings. Now, if you want just to kind of make it easier to kill the boss, you can go in there and empower what you can empower and get those bonuses even higher to where it makes it easier for you. And the blessings work in all the areas, so you don't have, like, if you get a blessing in one area, it's not just in that area, it goes for everything you do. So, but other than that, that is pretty much it. I hope you all enjoyed it. If y'all have any other tips or tricks or anything that y'all have learned in the game that you think would be beneficial, please leave a comment down below. Um, and like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed it. If y'all did like the content, please smash that like button. If you want to keep up with my guides, my builds, my live streams, all that stuff, smash that subscribe button so you can be notified on the next video that I do. And then also I have the Discord channel down below that y'all are more than happy to join me and chit chat and all that stuff, where you can even chat with me while I'm live streaming through there, so you don't have to jump on Twitch or anything like that, or YouTube to ask me any questions or anything like that. But other than that, my name is Devin, and I hope you all have a great one, and I'll see y'all next time.